This is Talk of the Town, and right now we're going to chat a little bit about retirement, one of those topics that we all want to know about. Today, specifically, we're going to find out what the latest research tells us about retirement. Joining us is Steve Gaito with Retirement Resource Management. Steve, so nice to see you today. Thank you for joining us.
Good to see you, Jessa.
So the big topic we're going to try and tackle here in a few minutes, but let's start with longevity. I think you know better than anybody, one of people's greatest fears is just outliving their money. So what do you tell people about this?
Well, it all comes down to income and creating income streams that last a lifetime. The number one fear every time they do a survey is I fear I'm going to run out of money. Well, one of the ways to do that is to create an income plan that addresses that fear. One that deals with inflation. That's one of the things I honestly like about Social Security is that it's guaranteed for life, and for a couple it's guaranteed the higher income till the last person dies. So that's an important factor. You also need to create an income plan that deals with your budget for the times that you need it. And you can deal with that a couple of different ways. Some people use real estate, some people use annuities. Some people ladder annuities in a way like you used to ladder bonds because you have different periods of your life where you need more expenses. I like to call it the go-go, slow-go, no-go periods. And so you can tailor an income plan to meet those needs.
And I love how you use those terms too, because that does help sort of separate those periods of retirement and the different ways that you might be spending throughout that time period. Let's talk about diversification, because I'm sure you get questions about that all the time. Assets, income, and the big T word, of course, is our taxes and how that all plays a role.
That's right. And usually when I get into a conversation about diversification, people only think about their assets. Do I have enough small cap, mid cap, large cap, international bonds, stocks, all that? That's an important part that you need to have diversified, but you also need to have diversified income sources, which means that your money is coming in from Social Security. You may be taking dividends off of your stock. You may be taking withdrawals out of there. But you may also want to consider those annuities. I know that's the second time I've mentioned them in this short period of time, but annuities are becoming the go-to source in retirement for most people because it replaces that pension that most people don't have anymore. And then tax diversification. One of the, I think, greatest disservices that we did to people was we encouraged them to save too much money in their retirement plans, in their 401ks, their 403bs. And now they've got a tax liability that's due at a time when taxes are scheduled to go up. And so how do you create your income that doesn't give more money to the government instead of to you? That's really a big part of the planning that I do, is to help people know where to take the money from to minimize those taxes over their lifetime and really create a plan that's going to leave more to them and less to the government.
That is such an important thing that you do for your clients, to realize the tax burden can really be game-changing if you're not careful and paying great attention to that. Going back to assets now, let's talk a little bit about income optimization and just how do we get the most out of our assets?
Yeah, that's really a neat challenge, and that encompasses taxes. It's what you actually, after you've paid all your obligations, you satisfied the government with their taxes, how much net do you have left? And that's really, it's not what you make. And that's one of the challenges I have is there's a theory or a thinking out there that, I've got $1 million in my IRA, I'm going to be okay. Well, it's not really $1 million because you've got to pay taxes out of that $1 million, and you're somewhere between $700,000 and $800,000 for most people. And so if you don't optimize that income and take it at the right time, doing Roth conversions, creating income that is tax-free, then you leave yourself subject to less income later on, because once those required minimum distributions start hitting and you're forced to take it out, I've seen it wipe out a significant amount of people's resources. And then because they had to take it out, they had to pay the taxes at a higher tax rate, they have less money for them.
Well said. Absolutely. It's so many things to look at. It's so important to have an expert helping navigate some of these things. And, really behavior plays a role too. We got to head to break, but can you give us just a quick pointer on behavior and how that really goes into the plan itself?
Well, and here's a little teaser. We're doing an event next Wednesday and Thursday over at Frankie Bones, where Julie Martin is going to come in, and she's really going to help people define, what their retirement looks like. That transition from that work time to that retirement time, and having purpose, and really being able to understand when and how you want to spend money. Because once you can figure out the when and how, the easy part is actually creating the income, and that's what I love to do. But if you go to our website, there's details on that. It's retirerm.com, easy to remember, but there's a lot of great resources there that can help people.
Well, I love that tie-in. Such a smart way to, talk about finances in relationship to how you want to live during those retirement years. Steve Gaito, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we'll be
Appreciate
back
it.
with Talk of the Town.